What's up, folks? Welcome to the YourMate podcast. This is Akwasi here, and I'm with my man, Faz. What's up, my man?
What's up, my friend? I am so excited to see you. This is a first for us. You are on a cruise ship right now, I hear.
Yeah, man. I'm on a cruise ship from Aswan in Egypt to Luxor.
My goodness. And what's that experience like? What's it like being on an Egyptian cruise ship? Tell me about it.
It's very interesting. It's the first time I've been on a cruise ship in a long time. I think the first time I was in a cruise ship, I was relatively young. And this experience is very cool. I have my own room, which is nice. Mm-hmm. That's a good start. Even though there are two beds. Sorry?
Adulting?
Correct. So I have my own room, and I think I'm one of the youngest people here.
So, wow. So that's a real thing. Like, it's always old people that pack cruise ships.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But they're cool. Yeah. They're easygoing. There's no issues. It's fun.
Have you been tempted? Have you been tempted by the old fruit on the, the well-ripened?
Listen, never knock it till you tried it, right? So I think
that's exactly
it. Time.
Yeah. That's it. You're a single man. This is your time. This is your time to venture before you lock it down.
Exactly right. Exactly right. So I'm gonna go there, see if I can chat up some of the oldies, or they might chat me up, and we'll see where the day and night takes us.
Hopefully it doesn't end up with you and someone in a room in a body bag and you explaining how it happened. Because I don't know how old you go, Akwasi. We've never had this conversation before. Anyway, let's not get sidetracked too far. So what's happening in Luxor, firstly? What are you going to be doing there?
I'm really excited for the particular activity that I really want to do in Luxor, which is hot air balloon.
Wow. So, is this going to be a first?
That's going to be my first. I'm a hot air balloon virgin. Have you been on one?
I went on in Canberra. They used to do hot air balloons all the time, and there was I can't remember what the day was called, but they used to fly these hot air balloons the whole day. And I remember I've been on a hot air balloon at least twice, but I was a kid. Yeah. As a grown up, hell no. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things. Like, why? What's the purpose?
Right.
When you're a kid, you're excited about nothing. You're fearless. You're excited about everything. Sorry, you're fearless. When you're an adult, you're just like, is it worth it? Do I trust this person? What are his credentials? Which hot air balloon school did he go to? You know?
Exactly. Right. Show me your papers. I want to see
exactly.
It reminds me of Medellin when I was in Colombia. I jumped off a cliff doing paragliding. And as I jumped off, I think we talked about it in the last episode before. As soon as I jumped off, about maybe 10 seconds into it, I started thinking, man, you have not asked for this guy's credentials. You've not asked for a police. You've asked for nothing, you idiot. Well, what are you thinking? Who does this? But at that time, I mean, what's the point?
What are you supposed to do?
I'm gonna die like that. This is it.
But you never know. You never know the dude could have a degree in his back pocket. He's just like, here you go.
Imagine.
Engineering from the University of Columbia, blah, 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 whatever. That would be great, because I would ask him those questions out of nervousness. Have you done this before? Can you tell me when you did? Serious.
I've asked him. That's one of the questions that I said, how many times have you done this while we're in the mid-air? And he says, about over 100. And I looked at him again. I said, man, he looks 15. He looks 15. There was no way he's done 100. What? He started when he was...
Maybe it's like something that they do in Colombia. Maybe it's like a...
Yeah, so that was interesting. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the hot air balloon. That's going to be a lot of fun. And that's one of the main things I want to do there. But there's doing Luxor, so I'll find out when I get there. There's so much to do in Egypt in general. So I've been trying to just live in a moment where I'm not planning too far ahead, because it tends to be the case where whenever I get to a city, my plans go sideways because people suggest better ideas for me. So I've learned to let go in that way, and I'm not that kind of person. I like to plan everything out and know what's happening. And
I know that about you, dude.
Yes, however, I'm trying to learn how to just relax.
Yeah.
With regard to when it's work, that's different. Work, then I'm planned. But for everything else in life, look, I need to be able to adjust and be able to go with the flow.
Yeah. Well, I honestly, me being someone who's now a family man, every time we do holidays, we plan. You have to plan because most of the time you're traveling with kids, so you plan it all out. But the times when we've just let things go with the flow is the other times we've had the most fun, because you run into less frustrations. You're like, okay, but 9 o'clock I was supposed to be on this boat, and then it doesn't happen because it's life. And sometimes boat operators are hungover or they have shit going on, so you have to wait for their delay.
Better not be hungover. Jeez, this is my life.
No, it depends on how it depends on how much you pay for a certain boat rider or boat. What do you call them? Sales person who sails. I wish I had a term for it right now. I'm gonna burn my master's degree, dude. I don't know shit about communication.
Is it a captain? No, or is it something else?
I mean, I wouldn't assign a captain unless he's actually earned it. You know what I mean? But maybe we'll give him captain. Let's give him captain.
We'll give him captain.
You never know how much you pay. Sometimes I've paid less than what's not what you should pay. So your expectations can't be high. You know what I mean?
Of course. You get what you paid for. If it sinks, well, it's your problem.
Exactly. But again, sidetracked.
You were trying to be a tight ass.
Come on. Sometimes you got to save a dime. Sometimes you got to save a dime. People always tell me, dude, you spend so much money. It's like, well, because I don't want to be stuck in those situations ever. And I agree with you. And the messed up thing here is right now I'm on the bottom floor. So the water is just right next to me. I can see it, whilst other people are in the higher levels. So if the boat sinks, I'm going first. Yeah, exactly.
That's bullshit. I've not seen anybody down here, by the way. I'm the only black guy on this ship, and I've not seen anyone down here. So wait a minute.
Oh my God. You are in the little sunken place. Oh no, Akwasi. That's bad.
And it's interesting because all these old people, like, they're fairly old. They must be looking at me thinking, wow, they're probably thinking, wow, 50 years ago, this guy would have been cleaning the ship. He would have been serving me drinks. Now he's sitting in a bloody hammock or whatever right next to me. What's going on? What's the world coming?
He has a whole floor to himself. He's got a whole floor to himself, just doing whatever he wants, man.
Yeah, we'll hear he's screaming if the boat is sinking, and then we can escape.
Please have your Titanic romantic moment before you start.
I know, right?
Okay? At least get something out of it. Some booty at least, dude. Come on.
That's a good point. Let me go get me some old wrinkly ass. Let's go.
The older the berry, sweeter the juice, bro. That's what they say. Anyway, we keep getting sidetracked because you've done so much in Egypt. So let's finish up. So in Luxor, you're just gonna go with the flow, and I know that's not normal for you. So how have you found you going with the flow on this holiday experience, particularly in the African part of it, because it can be quite complicated to navigate things here sometimes?
So initially, when I arrived in Egypt, I arrived in Cairo, and Cairo is a busy, crazy, wild. My goodness, the traffic is insane. The cars, the way there's no stop signs in most places, and the way the cars have an understanding of just who goes next, and it's incredible how they maneuver around each other. I've not seen a single accident. Actually, I saw one, but it was just a silly mistake. It wasn't really an accident. It was just one of the bus drivers. The buses were parked on the right-hand side. He forgot to put his handbrake on, and they're all behind each other, and he just rolled into somebody. That's basically it. I don't know how there are no proper accidents. It's insane. Like, I'm watching this thinking, this is incredible. There's an understanding, and everybody, the noise is just beeping constantly.
Right.
Beep.
Yeah.
Just constant over every little thing. Every little thing.
Crazy.
People are so aggressive, but at the same time, they're probably not. They know that's how they operate. And then I saw so many people crossing the road. I mean, crossing the road is good luck to you. But the thing about it is, no one's gonna hit you. The cars come speeding at you, but when they see you, they slow right down. So people just take a chance to just start walking across the street, and the cars kind of drive around them. And the pedestrians, I just don't understand how they're not scared. But and after 12 hours, I became like them. I just started crossing as well with no fear, because the cars will stop. One of our drivers said to me that the pedestrians and drivers have an understanding And I was like, okay, it's very
That's interesting.
Yeah,
that is very interesting.
Loud, very busy.
Yeah.
I didn't have much planned. So to answer your question, I didn't have much plan. I did have much planned in Cairo. So as soon as I got there, I got a guide who took me to the pyramids, which is incredible. Yes. I've always wanted to see the pyramids. It's insane. It's just to see. The more I think about it, and the more I look at the structure, I think to myself, well, okay, if humans built it, which I think humans did,
they did. Yeah,
they must have been so far ahead of us, advanced. They must have been so far ahead. And I think what happened was somehow civilization got wiped out some way, shape, or form, and we had to start again because we can't explain that properly. People say they can, but dude, it's incredible.
One thing that I know is so fascinating is that and a lot of people say the concepts of like slaves built it, but it wasn't really slaves. According to what they found in history is that they found that the government contracted a bunch of because obviously mass population back then, more people had nothing than they had something. So there was only the ruling class and the elites who had money. That was commonplace back then, right? So they hired a bunch of peasants who needed work to build these pyramids and tombs, right? So, and there was all this to think that now they talk about how Africa has these problems with infrastructure. We were able to build pyramids, roads, all these things well before these were even concepts for the rest of the universe, you know. So I'm just like adding to the marvel of what you saw, because it's truly humans built that, and it was a structured government plan to have these things built. And to say that we're not capable of doing that now is crazy. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. We're the ones who started this stuff, you know.
Yes.
So anyway, let me not sidetrack you too much.
Oh, that's a very a fair point. So just looking at it, I sat there just looking at it and marveling over it. And then we went to see the Sphinx. We saw so much. And people are trying to sell you everything and anything. Everything. And that's one thing that I have been told about Luxor. Everybody's telling me that they're a lot more aggressive. People are trying to sell you something. In every single corner. So it's going to be interesting.
What would you say is your favorite? Like, I guess you could say monument or heritage listed thing that you saw in Cairo, like your favorite thing that you saw. The pyramids, definitely.
I cannot get over, and there's many. So it wasn't a fluke. It wasn't like they built it and went, "This is how did we do this? We can't replicate it." No, there's enough. Right. There's too many. So you know that it was planned. You know that it was structured. It's incredible, and just how they align. And how they cut these stones from quarries that were miles away and transported them to this location. I don't know. It's impressive.
It is impressive.
Very, very impressive.
Oh man, people just don't want to give Africans credit. It's ridiculous. They you know, all the theories of aliens did this. It's like get the fuck out of here with this alien bullshit. Okay, we're awesome. We're capable of everything. Okay, so one thing that I heard also is that per square meter, or like 1 square meter, there's 100 people in Egypt. So was it like overwhelming? Is the population like overwhelming when you walk into a city like Cairo? Is it that crazy where it's...
Cairo is overwhelming. It's very... Even at Sunday at 11 p.m., it was packed. There were people, kids, like 5-year-old kids just walking around. It's a Sunday night. I thought it was cool. Very impressive. And the shops were open, juice bars, restaurants, they were all open. And that was very cool.
That's brilliant, man.
That. I'm thinking of where we've been living, like Melbourne or even Perth, where I've stayed for a very long time. Things shut down at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. But these guys were open late, and it was very cool to see. But in Luxor, totally different. Yeah. It's not as busy. Nowhere as busy. So there's a lot of space in Luxor. Chilled, and it's not as cramped. But the one thing I wanted to talk about was the river, the Nile River.
Oh, please talk to me about that.
The Nile River, my understanding is it's right now I'm on the Nile River right now. Like, it's incredible.
It's so cool, man. I'm so jealous.
It goes across 9 countries.
Yeah, it's so vast. It's massive.
It's insane. I did not know that. So 9 countries, and I took when I was in Luxor. Not Luxor. When I was in Aswan, I took a boat from the city all the way to the Nubian village, and the Nubian
village. Talk. Catch us up on that.
Just being on the Nile at night, going there, just seeing the sunset, it was incredible. And then you get to the Nubian village and you look at it and the lights, it looks beautiful. Got there and most of the people are darker anyway, darker than what you can picture an Egyptian being.
Right.
Yeah, as soon as I walk in there, everyone's called me brother, hey brother. And it's very touristy, and they're always trying to sell you something. But just being there and speaking to the people, they're very kind. They've got all these cool little restaurants as well. It's right by the Nile. You look across the Nile and it's just beautiful. It's well kept. Everybody's selling something, and I got to kind of juggle a football around as well. There was a little football pitch there, juggle it around while they were playing a game as well. But yeah, the people there were very sweet, very nice, and they just wanted to talk and chat, but mostly sell you something, which is understandable.
Of course, you got to make a buck, bro. We all do.
You got to make it from the visitors that are coming through. Yeah,
absolutely. And they always have tons of money to throw around. So
yes,
why not?
And most of the temples that I went to, we went by boats, so we're on the Nile as well. So I've spent quite a lot of time on the Nile, which is very cool.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
You hear about the Nile in the Bible, you hear about the Nile in ancient history, and now you're on the Nile. Like, whoa! So
how deep, man? How deep? Do you feel like did it feel like an out of body experience? You know, you finally see something.
Always wanted to go to Egypt, and just to hear. Sometimes I just sit back and I take it all in, and I'm just listening to people speaking this ancient language, and I just take it in. I think, wow, and they're very friendly people, and especially in Aswan, people are so nice. There was a guy that in the accommodation that I was staying, there was a guy called, he was like the manager, the guest manager, and he was called Gandhi. Because the man,
that's his real name, Gandhi.
He looked like Gandhi. His nickname Gandhi.
Oh man.
I don't have a picture. Maybe I'll add it to the clip when we put it on YouTube or Instagram. But my goodness, the guy looks like Gandhi.
That is crazy.
People are chill.
That is crazy. So he's like really tiny, skinny, glasses, Indian.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yes.
Man. Yes. The people that you run into, huh?
Reincarnation of Gandhi.
Oh man. Well,
you definitely have to come to Egypt, my friend. I recommend it to any of all of our listeners. Egypt is a must.
You've already knocked out. You're knocking out 2 of like my favorite, the places I've always wanted to go. So Ethiopia, still never gone, and Egypt, I think I might have been. I went, but I was like 3 years old, so I have no comprehension of anything. And I'm like, when I tell you I'm obsessed with ancient Egypt, and I'm obsessed. So for me when I go there, I think I'm just gonna drop dead. It's like one of those things where you're just like, my life is complete now. I've seen everything I need to.
When you go to Cairo, definitely, and you go see the pyramids, definitely get a guide, because you can look at it by yourself, and even if you know a lot, the guide will be able to tell you so much more than you could ever imagine. They were telling me about how mummies were made. They kept the body to keep the body intact. They inserted holes in the wrists and down the feet, and then they sucked all the blood out. And then also to take all the organs out and not destroy the body, they made a hole in the rib cage, but the bottom side, like the bottom side of the torso to the side. Yeah, and that's how they would remove the organs, but they would leave the hearts, because I think they were saying that destination or something like that. But anyway, that's how they made mummies.
Amazing. I didn't know that they leave the heart in there. Like I knew that they extracted the organs when they mummify, but I didn't know they let the heart remain. That's brilliant.
That's what my guide told me, that they leave the.
Yeah, no, it's probably true, dude. I mean, you probably learn more from the guides than you do these textbooks. That's for sure.
Yeah,
100%.
Our guide was amazing as well. He was just talking about, because as we were driving there, you could see the pyramids in the background, and immediately your heart starts to beat. You're thinking, whoa, not beat faster. And there's all these houses on the side that we're driving by, and they're not, I wouldn't say houses, maybe apartments, and there's just so many of them, and you can see a lot of them kind of destroyed. But I asked the guide why that was the case, and he said, well, people were building, those buildings are illegally constructed, so the government didn't give them permission. It's been there for a long time, but unfortunately what you can see is a lot of the buildings, at least on the side, have been destroyed too. And the outside, it looks terrible. It looks very bad because it's on both sides. It looks destroyed. And I said, what happened? And he said, the government destroyed it. The government, there are people still living in there.
Wow, man.
It was just interesting to see, because I was trying to figure out why there were so many buildings that were in that state. But I think it's just the outside that looked bad. It looked destroyed, but inside apparently it looks great. So that was.
How is there? And I've got another random question for you here. This is very random, because I love Egypt is one of the most ancient in terms of what still exists. It's one of the most ancient countries that exists in terms of the structures and what is still in place. But then there's been so many different people that have been through it. You've got the huge Arab influence, you've got the British influence, you've got some French. Are there any remaining structures in these big cities that kind of look like old British structures, or is it all just old school Arab looking buildings?
That's a good question. I think, that's a very good. No, there are some British influences, most definitely in the city, but mostly Arab looking. Like the what was I saying? In Cairo, the hotel, the hostel, actually, the accommodation that I was staying in, when you look at it from the outside, it looks terrible. Like all the buildings in the city just don't look aesthetically pleasing.
Right.
So you look at it and you think, but you go inside and it's very nice. It's well done up. So that's surprising. Like I walk in and the lift to my accommodation was terrible. It's like it didn't have a door. So
is it one of those wheelie systems?
Right, almost. If you put your hand out and the lift is going, it'll take your hand off.
Oh, Jesus Christ, that's freaking good.
Body parts inside, and it just goes up. And I didn't trust that lift, so I kept on taking the stairs, even with my bags. I did take the lift a few times, but for the most part, I was taking the stairs. But you walk in and you go upstairs, and it's beautiful. It looks amazing, but you would never pick that. In Australia, most of the buildings from the outside look beautiful, and the inside look beautiful. In Egypt, different. They look old. Of course, it's because it's an ancient city. But I thought, in Cairo, especially in Cairo, I thought that they would, I don't know, make it look really nice outside. But no, it's not. That's not the case.
I guess priorities, man.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if people can come in and stay and the building's well maintained, who gives a crap? It's the same. It's the same thing. Like when you go to all the coastal regions of most African coastal regions, you'll see all these older buildings, right? They might be dilapidated, but when you go inside, you're like, what the fuck am I seeing?
Yes.
Like if you go to the Hyatt Hotel in Zanzibar, you're just like, oh my God, this structure is old school. But when you go inside, wow, just you're overwhelmed by the experience. So I get you. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And so, all right, okay. So now when you went to the Sphinx, what did they teach you about the Sphinx? Did they teach you anything interesting about the Sphinx, things that you didn't know? Because there's so much like misinformation around that building, around that structure,
I recorded a lot of it, and there's so much to take in. In all honesty, I think we did this Sphinx towards the end of the day, and I was drained. So I'll be making things up if I try to tell you right now. The funniest thing, or the most silliest thing we did, our guide was, from afar, if you take your glasses, you can pretend to take the Sphinx's nose off.
Ah, cool.
He was getting myself to kind of do that, and he would take pictures, and I'll take my sunglasses off and I'll pretend to put it on the Sphinx, or I'll take it off, either way. So just those
fun.
little, I know that's not historical information.
No,
I can't remember. I honestly cannot remember most of what he told me about the Sphinx, but
then I'll ask you a different question. I'll ask you a different question. Cuisine. How did you like the cuisine in Egypt? The food in general.
And the food is great. Funny enough, so I rode a camel in Cairo, and it was amazing just to read. The camel was called Ali, and the camel was, I was talking to Ali most of the time, and I was just, rolling on the camel. And the camel was so chilled. I pretended to be a sheikh.
Yeah.
Listen, you're my new camel. Had a good conversation with the camel. When I went to Aswan, I went to when I went to the Nubian village, was it Nubian? No, I went to a restaurant called the Bob Marley restaurant. Crossed the Nile.
Okay.
Again, another trip on the Nile, and I ate camel.
Are you kidding me? You rode Ali and then you ate
camel.
Ali.
And I ate a camel. That's how I roll.
Oh my goodness, man! You really did become a chef, didn't you?
I wasn't the same camel. It was different cities, so I heard Ali. Oh man, I'll be crying while I eat Ali. I'm sorry, Ali.
You're so delicious. You're so delicious.
But everybody was saying, listen, you gotta taste camel, like you gotta eat it.
Yeah.
The whole time I was eating, I felt really strange eating the camel. My goodness, it tasted so good.
Good, right? It's good.
The best meat I've ever had.
It's so good, dude. I know.
The best I've ever had.
Somalis, we eat camel. Like that's what we do. We're pastoralists, so we eat like all those. I've had camel before, for sure. So, and there's so many uses of camel. Like anagel is it's like milk, camel milk. It's commonly consumed in Somalia.
So you can drink the milk, you can ride it, you can eat it.
Yes.
What else
you can do it? Oh, what a perfect! Isn't it a perfect animal? It really is perfect. And I must say,
camel.
Yeah, I must say that it actually suits you. When I saw the videos of you riding the camel, I was like, that suits you, bro. You shouldn't. Don't ever buy a car again. Just roll on the camel from now on. Why not?
Everywhere I go, I'm taking a camel.
Not? Yeah, forget it. I'm sure it's legal somewhere, like in Africa mostly.
Surely. Yeah, it was surreal to kind of ride a camel and just be so high up. I thought to myself before, it's a long way down.
It's terrifying, dude. I know a couple of people who've had really bad camel accidents. So I'm sorry to freak you out post the accident, but I'm glad I didn't talk to you before.
In what way? What happened to him?
Well, one of my dad's friends, who was a doctor. He still is technically a doctor. He fell off a camel and he basically became paralyzed and lost every sense of his brain functions except what keeps him alive. Yeah. So that kind of stuff can happen because it is, like you said, it's very high up. And unless you're like fully geared up, which you can't be in Egypt, otherwise you'll like boil to death. It's hot. Warm. Yeah. The humidity must have been insane. I can't imagine.
I don't understand how Egyptians, everybody's wearing pants. What's going on? And in Ethiopia as well. In Ethiopia, everybody's wearing pants, but we'll talk about Ethiopia the next time. But in Egypt, everybody's wearing pants and I'm wearing shorts. So I stick out, obviously.
Yeah, you stick out in general with your beard.
I'm wearing shorts. So,
Actually, with your beard, you probably fit in with most people there.
Yeah.
Everyone's got beard.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Some people think I am, what do they say? Some people, they think everyone thinks I'm American.
Yeah.
Until even when I talk to them, they don't understand accents. They just say,
right.
"Oh, you look American,
so
you're American."
Yeah. Yeah, you must be American.
Obviously, a lot of Americans come here.
Absolutely, dude. Like, why wouldn't they?
Exactly. On another note, when you come to Egypt, just be prepared to be hustled.
It's that bad, huh? All the time.
It's all the time. Someone's trying to sell you something. It's just, I shouldn't say hustled. Maybe hustle is not the word, but people are so gullible. So on the street, people are just the locals are trying to sell you everything and anything. And me, I'm not going to buy anything because I'm traveling. I don't have any room. So the only thing I bought was scarves, and I love the scarves. So I bought 3 of them. I learned how to do the head wrap, the Saudi head wrap. I don't know what it's called, but
So how does it look on you? Do you have any pictures? Are you going to share it with the fans?
I do have pictures. Yes, I do have pictures. Listen, I will admit I look great. And when we were at the pyramids, I heard of a story, the funniest story I've ever heard in a long time. So when I was at the pyramids, my guide was telling me about a story of an American woman who was charged $50 American to get on the camel, and then $50 American to get off the camel.
Just to get on and off? Oh my
She got
God.
scared so bad. It was the best.
Oh my God.
I love it so much because a lot of people are gullible, man. A lot of people are.
Man, you could have a camel for a whole day in Africa, dude. That's ridiculous. That woman is stupid. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
There are a lot of those people here. So my guide, there were a few other people in my accommodation that wanted to join me on, because I paid for the guide, and they wanted to join me. I said, yeah, sure. So they joined me and we split the cost, which worked out well. Now the guide takes us to the first. He took us to the first Giza, first pyramid. Yeah. And once we get there, he then has to drive off while we go and get our ticket and walk through. And he said, I'll meet you at the top. And he kept on saying, do not talk to anybody. Don't talk to anybody. Do not. They're going to come and ask you to pay for this and do that. And he was talking to us like we were kids. And then later on, I thought, oh, a lot of people are gullible, and that's why he's trying to protect us. And it's fair enough. A lot of people, and everywhere I've stayed so far, and people that have shown me around, they've all kind of spoken to me like a child in a way. Don't do this. Don't talk to any strangers. If they want this, don't do that. Especially because they know people are trying to sell you something, and they are relentless.
Yeah.
And so a lot of foreigners and a lot of travelers are gullible to the point where they just go, okay, here you go. But look, I'm old enough. I've lived in Ghana for long enough when I was younger to understand that you stand your ground. But a lot of these travelers don't. Like, for example, on this ship, I'm going to post something today or later today. You'll see it for our followers. I'll try and maybe put it onto my Instagram and maybe YourMate podcast Instagram as well. So when the ship is going, and all of a sudden, 2 hustlers in a small little boat ride right by us, and they look up and they say, hey, my friend, they're trying to sell us scarves. And they obviously all white people on this ship. And what they do is they force you in a way to buy it. So what they do is they wrap it in plastic and they throw it from their little boat.
Oh my God.
Throw it at you. And I can imagine all these white people or old white people like, oh my God, what do I do? You know, what do I do? Oh, okay, here's some money.
Stupid, just throw it back at him, you idiot.
That's exactly what happened this time. So he threw it, he throws it, and then it came back with interest. Someone just dished it back at him. Remember, they have a small boat, so it's easy to miss.
Right.
But for whoever threw it, the old white person has an unbelievable arm. Like they threw it clearly straight into the boat. This is what it looked like for the listeners or for the people watching. They threw it, and then there were the 2 of them. There were 2 hustlers in the little boat, and they were clapping. They were like, and then within half a second, they went from to no, don't throw it. They didn't want the person to throw it back. And then they threw it back and it landed, luckily it landed into it. And they were like, are you crazy? You are crazy. You are crazy. Huh? You are crazy. Oh, I laughed so hard.
Man. You know how little I care? If someone threw that shit at me in a boat, I'd tumble that shit. I'd block it. I don't care if you lose it. That's your fault. Why are you throwing it at me? That's stupid.
Exactly.
People are stupid, man. I can't believe people would actually be like, okay, I'll pay you after you throw something at me. That's an assault.
It's funny you say that because as soon as they threw it back, I looked at the old white person. I was like, man, like you must be black. Like inside, you must be
something.
There's no way a black person's taking that shit. No way. Throw it back, and it went back. I was so proud of the old people. I was so proud of him.
Absolutely. That's an old man who's been ripped off one too many times. He's just like, nah, these dudes are not getting me today.
Get out of here. Not today, son. Not today.
Oh man, that's a brilliant story. I really love that. Oh awesome. Man. But please tell me, this is one thing that you just always never do. Please tell me you had shisha while you were in Egypt. You had to have. I'm gonna kill you, bro. That's it.
Yes.
Like, you don't give a crap about any cultural experience, do you?
I had the opportunity to have shisha last night, and I didn't. Okay, today I'm gonna have shisha. I'm in Luxor. I'm gonna have shisha. I've still got that.
Yeah. If you don't, I'm just not gonna talk to you anymore. This podcast is over, bro. All right, you gotta indulge in something.
So you're saying shisha in Egypt is better?
Yes, and it's a social tool. You'll be sitting down talking to somebody random, and conversation flows when you're sharing shisha because you're sharing something. This is the problem. There's a disconnect when we live in Western society where no one shares anything anymore unless you're like in a tight-knit group. But when you're having shisha, you've seen, like even in a club, for example, when you have shisha in Melbourne, people are just like, oh, you have shisha, great. You know, it's a conversation starter and something to connect you to that other human.
I'm gonna have shisha.
You know, even just to, and plus that's like the home. I wouldn't say it's the home, but it's like it's Egypt, bro. Like if you ever go out to see the Bedouins, if you get that opportunity, smoke shisha with them. Don't be an asshole.
Don't be an asshole all your life.
Oh man.
I'll
give it a shot. You gotta give it a shot. But I'm so excited for you, bro. Like I can't imagine. So what's the now? We've only got another minute left. So tell me about what the next part of the portion of this trip looks like. So you've only got one or two more days in Egypt, then you are off to Ghana?
2 days in Egypt, today and tomorrow. And then I go to Cairo the very next day. And then from there I go to Accra. Yes, Accra.
Okay. And I'm sure because that's your hometown, you're very, very excited to go there.
Dude, I got emotional booking my tickets to Accra.
I can only imagine, dude.
Yeah. And so it was. I cannot wait because that's where I'm gonna be for a while. And in terms of comedy, I'm gonna make it happen over there. So as well, I'm gonna continue over there. So.
Oh man, I am so much. I almost feel like I'm part of this journey with you because I am.
You are.
Talking to you through it, all this stuff. I can't wait to find out the rest of your trip, man. It's just going to be such a wonderful experience, man. I am both jealous and happy and proud that you're going on this journey. Just stoked for you, man.
Thank you, man. Well, I'm excited about your journey as well. I mean, you're in Kenya, so this is a whole new life for you. But yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very excited for you. I'm excited for the both of us actually because it's I look back and we've both come very far from being locked down in a house for months, and now we're on the continent traveling, and we're actually living our dream, living how we want to live.
Absolutely.
And making it happen, hustling and just working hard. So yeah, well done. Proud of both of us.
More importantly, I'm very proud of you continuing, and myself now. I'm going to add that. Keep pushing yourself out of your comfort zone.
You got it.
That's the only way. Like, I know it's a small conversation we had, but we've had it several times where we're just like, nah, man, like sometimes we have to make ourselves uncomfortable to see what, how we can make our dreams happen. And it's happening, bro.
That's the only way to grow.
Yeah. Agreed.
That's the only way to grow. It's like when you're in the gym and you're doing squats and you want to get, for the women who want to get a booty, or for the guys who want biceps and shoulders, you have to stress the muscle, and then the muscle grows. It's the only way. There is no other way. So even if you take steroids, you still have to go to the gym and stress the muscle.
That's true.
So either way,
the fact that people don't know that is confusing.
Yeah, right. You cannot circumvent that, and you have to do it. So I'm glad that we're both doing it because that's the quickest and it's the fastest way to achieving what you want to achieve and growth.
Absolutely, my man. Well, I can't wait to hear the rest of your Egypt trip and how things transition into Ghana, particularly when you start doing stand-up in Ghana. I'm going to have 750 questions for you. Every podcast is just going to be based around that, really.
So. I can't wait. I can't wait. So it's very exciting.
I agree, man. And I'm excited for you, bro. But we'll wrap it up now so you can go on and enjoy your holiday and I can go back to work. Bastard. So God bless you. God bless our fans. Thank you guys for tuning in, and thank you, Akwasi, for your time.
Much love, my man, and thank you very much. We'll speak to you guys, or you guys will hear from us soon.
Absolutely. Hopefully before the end of next week. Yeah.
Absolutely. Sure. Yes.
My man. All right, man.